Dr. Sheep here. Welcome back to TGIF Talks, episode 125. I'm your host, Dr. Sheep, joined by my co-host, Anonymous Phil.
Hello.
Okay, let's roll the intro, and then there's things to discuss, my friends. Oh boy, there's a lot going on here. Okay, so, to the people watching at home, okay, so this podcast might get broken down kind of funkily. So, basically, we recorded the first part, we recorded the podcast, we got about 20 minutes in, and Streamlabs crashed, which means that is the final nail in the collar for Streamlabs. It is dead. I'm no longer using it. I'm going to uninstall it as soon as we're done with this podcast here. And I'm switching to regular OBS. We are now recording on regular OBS. Now, here's the other issue. We had really good conversation. It really sucks. Like, this was probably the best podcast we've had for just conversation because we weren't fighting.
For a long time. It's been a while.
Yeah, it was just good, solid conversation. It's good sci-fi conversation. And my computer decided to take a shit. So, this may be the second introduction of this video. So, you may or may not be seeing this. Anyways, we're going to pick up, I mentioned quasi-stars. We're just going to end the discussion there. I know there were some great points that I talked about after that, but, like, that whole first point, Phil's audio sounds like crap, and so we're hoping it sounds better here. And anyways, this could be the second segment / only segment of the podcast. Very weird podcast this week. So I have been put on record, I'm pretty sure, at some point in my life, stating I do not like Harry Potter, and that is for the most part true. Like, I'll sit down and watch a Harry Potter movie, and it's whatever, but I'm not like invested in this franchise like I am like for Star Wars or Marvel or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it's not terrible. My issue with it is it's kind of like Lord of the Rings or Star Trek to me. There's too much talking, not enough action. Star Wars is pretty fast-paced for the most part. A lot of action. And Marvel's kind of the same way. Everybody complains about how Marvel's editing is like neck-breaking. Well, I don't mind it. I have ADD. I tend to just, pop here, there, everywhere.
You don't like the editing?
What? No, people don't like the Marvel edits.
What do you mean?
The fight scenes, they're hard to keep track of what's going on because they cut so quickly.
Sure.
I've never really had a problem, but again, I have ADD. Again,
the only problem I have had recently was mainly in the case of what was the last movie that I saw?
Which one? Oh, the one that Wheeze?
Black Panther.
Oh, right.
That movie dragged on. That was way too long.
They screwed that. That movie, yeah.
That is my biggest problem with Marvel recently, is that the movies, they keep trying to want to hit like this 2.5 hour plus mark, and it's like, why? I have no problem going to the theater and being in and out in an hour and a half if it's a great movie.
That's a comedy, though.
I'm not saying that Marvel could hit every point that they want to make in an hour and a half. I'm just saying that I would much rather watch an amazing hour and a half movie than be like asking myself, when is this over? An hour and a half in.
Right.
Of a 2.5 hour movie.
My issue right now with Marvel is they're building up two characters that I don't understand how they're going to pay off. They're building up Kane the Conqueror or whatever, and they're building up Valentina. And I don't understand. Like, they're doing a better job building her up than they are of building Kane the Conqueror. And, like, because, like, literally next year, not next year, Yeah, 2024. Yeah, sorry, I forgot. It's 2023. Literally next year, we're gonna see the next Avengers movie where like we're supposed to fight him, and I'm thinking like, what is Valentina's purpose then? Is she just gonna be like a big villain to replace Kingpin in like the TV shows for like all the minor characters? But then of course they have big budget people like Black Panther and Falcon fighting him, so I'm like, why fighting her? So I'm like, I'm confused. So I don't know what's going on with that. Anyways, so I don't know. Well, anyways, bringing back to the Harry Potter thing. So we were discussing time travel, and we were looking at the best time travel movies of all time. And I brought up how I hate when they do things in reverse order. And on this list, they have the best time travel movies as Back to the Future, Groundhog Day, which isn't, I mean, it is a time travel movie, but also not really. But anyways, and then Terminator, which is not the order I expected, but it makes sense. And then Planet of the Apes, which I forget about, which, again, I don't know. And then there's Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, which I don't know if that can be included in this genre. Edge of Tomorrow, I've never seen Edge of Tomorrow, so I can't give a thing on it. 12 Monkeys, Star Trek 2009. And then we had Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. And I was like, Phil, have you ever seen Prisoner of Azkaban? And he's like, no. He's only ever seen maybe the first movie. But you've never read the books either, have you?
I tried to read the first one, and it got way too long, and I became uninterested.
See, that's my issue. They gab too much. Too much talking. Which, don't get me wrong, that is, if it's something I'm interested in. So here's kind of where this is going to drag on. Whatever. Anyways, everybody complains about the trade talk in Star Wars Episode 1. I don't really mind. Again, I'm a weird type of person where trade regulations... God, I sound so old and boring when I say this, but I like discussing trade regulations. I also, in Black Panther, I love to learn about like the economy and the society that is Wakanda. And then I love to see how its role is in the international scale. I want to see how another superpower like the United States interacts with this. I want to see...
that was the other thing that pissed me off. They say, oh yeah, vibranium, the only thing that's found in it's the only metal, rarest metal on Earth, only found in Wakanda. Oh wait, turns out there's a whole bunch of it in the ocean.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah, yeah. But, like, again, also, like, nobody's ever explored the ocean, so...
I suppose.
Like, honestly, we might end up... what I find funny about this, right? So I don't understand this. They have the technology to go to space and do, like, an SSTO. We've seen this in Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I know you haven't seen it, but they literally go to space in Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in a plane, an SSTO pretty much. Single stage to orbit vehicle. And so going to space and like mining asteroids and stuff doesn't seem that difficult. Also seems to be that the Quinjets are also able to go to space. Because like how did Hulk get to space at the end of Ultron, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So clearly they have the technology to go to space quite easily. If going to space is that easy in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, why the fuck are you wasting time mining crap at the bottom of the ocean? Isn't it just
Wait, the Quinjet, are those rotors that provide the thrust?
Well, it has multiple different types of ways of providing thrust. But somehow Hulk got into space. It has rotors.
Like, how do you provide thrust in space?
Well, so
I mean, sure, you can leave at a constant. I mean, sure, if your velocity is high enough when you leave Earth. Those travel at a constant velocity.
The Quinjet's got the rotors, and that's just to provide hover capabilities and was it Volk? Yeah, Voltaire, vertical takeoff and landing. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's what those are used for, but they have actual like thrusters. I don't know if they're just a regular jet engine. I don't know if they have closed cycle for oxygen, for liquid oxygen. I have no idea. They never talk about it, but somehow Hulk got into space with the Quinjet. Who knows? Point is, but we do see in Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. they do go to space using a closed cycle engine. So, okay, so they could go to space. Seems quite easy, honestly. So why the? And we know that using spectra, using light, we can take a spectrum of asteroids to figure out their composition. Meaning that we can scan the entire solar system looking for vibranium-rich asteroids. And when we look out into the universe and we're examining elements, the distributions of elements compared to on Earth are wildly different. Because on Earth, lithium is very rare on Earth, but lithium in the universe is not rare. It's common.
Third.
Well, it's not third. Because it starts hydrogen, helium, drops down to lithium, goes back up to beryllium. It's weird. I can get a chart.
Oh, I think I've seen the chart actually. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, it's quite common, meaning that vibranium, whatever element it's supposed to be on the periodic table, I think it's supposed to be like their titanium or whatever, or maybe it's supposed to be like next to aluminum. I don't know. Point is, I think it's supposed to be somewhere between beryllium and aluminum. Anyways, so it exists somewhere on their periodic table there. Unless it's like technetium, where it's unstable, and which you then can't find it in the universe. I don't understand, but we know it's not, because they're able to make a frisbee and all kinds of cool stuff out of it. So we know it's not rare. We know it's not radioactive. We know it doesn't just decay and disappear. So we know it's out there in the universe, meaning that unless the solar system is somehow an anomaly, which we know it shouldn't be, I don't know how it would be, but if somehow the solar system is an anomaly where there is no vibranium in the solar system, there should be vibranium out in the somewhere out in the asteroid belt. Moving on from that, why the fuck are they mining at the bottom of the ocean? Asteroid mining, like, we are closer to mining asteroids in the present time than we are to going to the bottom of the ocean to mine for precious metals.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't understand. Where gee, and they had to build some special detector that can detect vibranium. It actually, I would assume, be pretty easy because you could just use some sort of sonar. I would assume its sonar signal would be a bit different than like the surrounding rock, because it's so like reactive to sound waves or whatever. That's how I would go about looking for it, because you can't use a spectrum underwater. So, anyways, so that's that. I don't know how we got onto that away from Harry Potter, but anyways, they do time travel in Harry Potter, and their version of time travel is jank. Their version of time travel is kind of like Doctor Who time travel, but also Doctor Who time travel also breaks things where they're like Back to the Future time travel, where you can go back in time, but like also you can see, so you can go back in time. So like all time travel, I guess, theoretically allows you to go back in time and watch yourself. But somehow in Prisoner of Azkaban, I think they're able to, like, via magic, like interact. I don't remember the entire movie, but it really plays fast and loose with the rules of time travel. I already said in a deleted scene at this point, unfortunately, that Terminator just takes the rules of time travel, crumbles up into a ball, lights it on fire. But this destroys it. Also, I love that Endgame isn't here on any of this, but that's interesting. Mm-hmm. Oh, and the most popular time travel movies of all time, Endgame, isn't on here. Idiocracy is.
It's not?
No.
Oh, it should.
It's the second highest grossing movie of all time. It was the highest.
That's why it should.
Yeah, unless it's not that.
Technically, it should be first. Avatar was out, long gone, long over. 10 years later, they decide to release something.
In China.
To get the views it needed.
Yep. J.J. Abrams is petty. We've already had this discussion. Anyways, so I was gonna have this whole thing, but I honestly
I thought it was it Abrams or Cameron?
James Cameron.
Cameron.
Made Avatar.
Yeah. I thought you said Abrams.
Maybe I did by accident. Anyways, it's Cameron. He's a schmuck. We've already discussed this. But so we come back. So a lot of people bitch about the Harry Potter series when they introduced the Time Turner, which is their time machine, because it could have been used to stop Voldemort, could have been used to do a lot of things, and we never see it again. We never see it. We see it get used once. So, and the thing is, right, the justification for never seeing it again is that it's too dangerous or whatever to be left in the hands of anybody. But they gave it to Hermione so that she could take more classes. That's why Hermione had it, so she could take double the amount of classes of everybody else. They gave it to a child. What? So, there's another issue with the Harry Potter franchise. So, but I would be willing to sit back down and rewatch Harry Potter. I haven't even seen all the movies. I haven't even seen to the end because, again, I get to Half-Blood Prince and I start falling asleep. Now, the question is,
would you rent them or would you buy them?
I don't know. Kind of depends how much it costs me to buy.
I don't think you can buy it off Voodoo and then return it.
You cannot, no. Although they have a sale on their UHD. You can buy it in 4K for the same amount you can buy it in regular HD.
What is the difference between renting and buying?
So when you rent something on Voodoo, you get like one playback for like a certain amount of time, and that's it. When you buy it,
price.
Oh, so I would have to rent, say, the first Harry Potter movie. It's $3.99 regardless of which. For the first one, anyways, regardless of which. I can't think of what the hell it's called. Which resolution you get? It's $3.99. Okay. So that's the first one. Let's skip all the way to the last one to double check that it's same price. So it's $3.99 for all 8 for each movie. There's 8 of them, so versus $78.99 for all 8 outright. So it's significantly cheaper, but you will spend $30. 4 times 8. Yeah, you're going to spend $30, $35, give or take, after taxes, because I'm sure you'll have to pay tax on that, to watch all 8.
Mm-hmm. Versus, what, 78 you said to own?
Yeah.
So, I guess, it should...
Don't get me wrong.
$78, I will say, is a lot of money.
It is.
Or something that you'll never want to watch again.
So here's the thing, right? I like the first 4 Harry Potter movies. I've seen them each one of them many times, because that was usually all that was on TV. Like ABC Family would run marathons of all the Harry Potter movies, and I would just watch all day. I just sit there and watch the Harry Potter movies because usually there was nothing on the weekends. In the summer, I think. During the week, yeah, there's definitely had to be during.
So you like half of them, I guess that could support buying it. At least you like half of them, and who's to say you won't like the next couple?
Well, the thing is, it's Order of Phoenix, and it's Order of Phoenix is where I start to break down. My favorite is Goblet of Fire. I really like. It's just very different from all the other ones, which is why I like it so much. Oh, I like the first few because it's just like, it's just, they're also just kind of a different feel compared to the other ones. They're kids. It feels more like you're not into the big lore of the whole series yet, but you're kind of there.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways. So, I don't know. I'm not going to do it now. I'm not going to do it for a while. Because I got to pay for this trip. I had $10 left in my bank account.
Taxes were not kind.
Huh?
I said taxes were not kind.
No, they were not. I haven't even got to pay those yet. I was checking my mail today to make sure I haven't gotten that yet. I have not. Well, and also just... Yeah, taxes. Also, do you remember? So Amazon sent me an email the other day. Hey, yeah, remember that thing you said you returned, but we said it was the lens that you returned, but we gave you credit for the lens and the other thing you returned? Well, we're now going to take money back from you because we never received the item that I actually returned. So I still came out on a profit, like. They gave me money back for a more expensive item that they said they received.
Yeah.
So, I probably even had keyword. I probably deleted it since then because I'm an idiot. Had an email that literally said, "Hey, we've received your item. Here's your refund." For both of them. But I'm not gonna bother until I be like, "Hey, I want the $64 back." I'm not going to try and...
So the lens you never returned, right?
Nope. But they gave me the money back for it.
As well as money for some other item?
Right, but they've now...
And so they took the money for the lens back, but not the other item?
No, other way around.
Oh.
The item I actually returned, they took the money back.
Mm-hmm.
The adapter. They took the money back for the adapter, even though that was the item I returned.
Which one was more expensive?
The camera lens. So I still ended up getting, more money, but... Anyways, so that was $60 that I wasn't expecting to come out of my bank account, so... had that not come out, I would have had $70 instead of $10 left in my bank account.
Literally $10 in your checking account?
Yep, $10 and some odd cents.
Literally $10.
Yep. I was at Walmart yesterday, or 2 days ago.
Wait, do you put money in your savings, or how do you let it get so low?
Yeah, well, remember, I get paid once on the 15th and then on the 1st. And so the 1st gets almost 100% consumed by my rent. And so I have $1,000 to make it from then for a whole month, for 30 days, from 15th to 15th. So.
Wait.
And so I got to pay for.
What about the money you got today?
What that is my, so that's $100. I got $105. Is what I have in my bank account. I got $195, but $105 I will have to get myself from 15th of now to 15th of April. Plus, I'll get
$100?
like an extra 100 on the 31st because, like I said, it uses most of that, but not all of it.
That's accounting your rent they have to pay in April, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. On the 1st, I will get about an extra $100.
Okay.
Because it doesn't acquire. I get about $1,100 a week every paycheck.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
So I will have. So yeah, I will have about $1,200 total.
Mm-hmm.
But see, the reason why I got so low this time was because I was working on all these YouTube projects.
Mm-hmm.
Had I not been working on any of those projects, I would have been perfectly fine. And also had Amazon not pulled that money on my account, I would have been at like $170 some odd dollars. $180. Because I spent $100 on the vacuum chamber, $110 in the vacuum chamber, and then.
Do you have to wait to pay your share of the trip then, or no?
Oh no, I can write you. I have the money. I'll write you a check. Like I said, I have $1,100 to stretch between now and the 15th, which should be fine. Because there shouldn't be any. Like I said, the only thing is I'm gonna have to pay you and my taxes. But like I said, I'm still going to get something from the state. So, I realistically I just have to pay my tax guy. So it's like $100. I have about $200 in unusual expenses for the next month, which is fine because as I've really I have about. I still spend money stupidly, and I usually have $100 to $200 left at the end of each month.
Mm-hmm.
So, realistically, I'll be okay. Also, this is the time of year where I'm going to be consuming less gas and less electricity. So, and those rates are cheaper.
True.
So, those expenses will be marginally less. Internet will be the same. But those will be marginally less. Anyways. So, no. I will be able to pay you. I will get you your check. You said
it wasn't an issue of me receiving the money. It was an issue of, am I putting you in financial stress to get the money?
Had I not gotten paid? Yes. Had I not gotten paid? Yes. But no, we're good. I almost got to push up my North Dakota trip, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So, to the viewers, only the streamers, the only people that watch the stream actually know this. But Rondo's girlfriend reached out to me. And she was like, Rondo had reached out to me after I released that vlog from North Dakota, and he was like, she doesn't like being referred to as Rondo's girlfriend. And I'm like, I don't like referring to her as that because I want to have a name for her. I never came up with a code name. And so I asked her, like, what do you want your code name to be? And she's like, badass bitch. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I would rather not have swears in it, but all right. So she is now badass bitch.
I thought we allowed ass.
We are. Like, I would just... In the regular videos, it's kind of like, eee. And also in the vlogs, it's like, eee. But,
considering we already allow bastard, I see no reason not to allow the feminine version.
We swear... Like, the podcast, the stream... I can't control the streams, so podcasts, streams... Like, we swear on all of those. It's just the vlogs and regular channel videos, especially the regular channel videos, I would rather there not be swearing, but I'm limited by the technology of my time. So, I cannot just control people, so. Well, anyways. Well, alright, so yeah, anyways, they reached out to me about a week or so ago. She was like, hey, can you come up earlier? And I was like, let me do the math. did the math. I'm like, okay, yes, I have the money. I can do it. I was like, okay. I was like, all right. They're like, when do you want to do it? And I'm like, well, I'll see what the boss says. Well, pretty much from the last week in April to the middle of August, I cannot take any days off other than the ones that I've already requested. So.
Oh, the June trip is good.
Yeah, like I said, I already requested that. Because the issue.
So they wanted you to go up to North Dakota, like, in the near future?
They were like, can you come up sooner? I'm like, I'll see if I can come in May. Nope. There is no
Well, can you go, like, late March? Like, next week?
Well, see, yes, I could take the time off to do that. But no, because you don't want to be in North Dakota any earlier than May. Because I texted Rondo. I'm like, Rondo, I could go
yeah, what's the weather?
Yeah. I was like, I could go my birthday weekend, and he's like, there's still going to be snow on the ground. I'm like, oh.
How much snow is on the ground right now?
They just had a blizzard. They just had 3 to 4 inches, so.
That's not a blizzard. What the hell? We need to come up with a standardized definition of a blizzard.
Okay, blizzard. Okay, sorry. Actually, a blizzard can be defined by any amount of snow. It's whether I think it's by wind gusts.
Oh.
And sustained winds, and whether or not you reach whiteout conditions. That's a blizzard. It's not actually by the amount of snow. But anyways, they just had a bigger snow, 3 to 4 inches.
I want to define a blizzard as 8+ inches.
Oh, well, I mean that. I think they already had that on the ground, so this is another 3 inches on top of it. They're in like, apart from like going further north and going to Canada, or like going across the border into Minnesota, they're in like one of the or like places that get lake effect snow, or like the mountains. They're in like, there's a lot of, okay. Never mind. They get a lot of snow up there. I was going to say, they're in a part of the country that, like, where it gets, like, the most amount of snow, but then I realized there are places that get lake effect snow. There's also the mountains. There's also Canada. There's also just across the river in Minnesota. And I was just like, okay, those are a lot of, if we exclude all of these, they get the most amount of snow. So,
yeah, right?
Simpsons paradox.
Exclude every other place but Texas. They get a lot of snow.
Yeah. So by Simpsons paradox, they get a lot of snow. By regular terms, they get more snow than us. They get a lot more snow than us, but not, feet compared to other places. Mm-hmm. So. But, like, as for a place that doesn't, like, sit next to, like, a body of water, they get a shit ton of snow. Or they're not in the mountains, they get a shit ton of snow. So, yeah, they get feet. They had, like, a foot of snow, probably.
It's like 3 inches. That's enough to, like, see your track in the snow. But it's not enough to, like, wear high socks or whatever.
I should say it was 3 inches looking at the railing. I couldn't see what it looked like everywhere else, and so it's very possible they got like 5 inches.
I suppose.
Which is, unnecessary. Plus, again, they already had.
I want to spend a winter in a place, like just once for the experience, in a place that records their snowstorm in feet.
So, the thing is, right, they only get like 1 or 2 of those storms a year. It's not like...
Well, yeah. So if you spend an entire winter there...
but it's not like North Dakota where it snows almost every week. And every single week it snows, they get a few inches.
Yeah.
So they will get more...
Thinking, like upper north part of New York or whatever.
Maine.
Maine.
Well, as long as Maine's not too close to the coast where it stays warm and so it melts. But anyways, no, yeah, and so they're like, yeah, you can't come your birthday weekend because there will still be snow on the ground. So
That's why you don't want to go because there's snow.
they don't want me to come.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah.
They're like, there's gonna be snow on the ground. Don't worry about it.
They fear your safety.
Yeah. So I was like, damn, I got really excited. I was like, wow, moving up my trip to go see Wisconsin up in May. That's gonna be fucking awesome. Poopy. It will still be September. We were okay. I don't know if I want to record that. That'll be off the record. So, actually, congratulations, folks. This podcast is now long enough to actually be the entire podcast. So, if you want to see the part of the podcast where we actually discuss time travel and do nerdy stuff, and we also discuss our week,
join our Patreon.
I wish. The issue is I don't have enough content to do a Patreon. The way I do videos now, I could probably do a Patreon. I could probably here's the video.
The only way to make a Patreon worth it to the people who watch is to have supplemental, interesting material.
So they could,
or extended and at least extended versions of the content they watch, or like a behind the scenes or whatever.
So what a Patreon for me right now could be access to I could get a public Snapchat, and so when I'm uploading videos of me tinkering around with the supersonic ping pong ball cannon, they can get those. We can make the Discord private, and they can only access.
Yeah, have you experimented with it yet?
I've been trying to get it to just work.
Oh,
I got one actually successful launch, and it was unintentional.
Oh.
It went through the box and went all the way across my apartment, and it ran into my shades.
What is the problem you're encountering?
I don't know what to build the seals out of.
The seal tape.
It doesn't work.
Oh, it doesn't?
So packing tape. So I knew this was. So here's the issue, and I knew.
Too strong.
Huh?
Packing tape's too strong. It's too adhesive. Scotch tape.
No, it's not strong enough.
Oh, Scotch isn't strong enough?
No, packing tape isn't strong enough.
I would have figured it'd be too strong.
No. So here's the issue I'm running into. I don't understand how I did a thing got his to work, because he used tinfoil. Tinfoil doesn't work. It doesn't hold a seal. Because, I can't pull a vacuum enough. I can get it really close to a vacuum, but it's still 1 or 2 psi left in the tube.
Is that not enough?
No. I've tried popping it at that point, and it doesn't work.
It doesn't go very fast?
It doesn't even pop out the other end.
How long is your barrel?
3 feet.
Oh.
It doesn't even pop out the other end. So I'm like, all right. So I was like, let's try I originally tried packing tape. And I think this is my last trick up my sleeve. I just don't want to do it because it's going to cost me an arm and a leg to do it. My issue is my packing tape isn't wide enough to cover the whole hole in one piece.
What if you use saran wrap?
I tried.
You did?
It doesn't work. And I'll get to that. So,
really?
So the issue with packing tape was I could if it were one piece of packing tape, one singular piece of packing tape, I think it would work. But it have to be a big wide piece of packing tape. And I could order it off Amazon, but it's $20, or there is a $6 thing.
You can't do half of do it one layer and then one layer halfway and then Lay another layer slightly overlapping it.
Nope, it leaks. So that
From
works.
where?
So it leaks on the edges.
Well, then you put a piece around it.
So it works on the... And I knew this was going to be an issue. I knew it. And I told them at Menards, I'm like, it's not going to work the way you want me to build it. They're like, no, it'll work. It'll work. And I'm like, no, it will not. Because it's going to have ceiling issues. And now I'm paying for it because I was fucking right. I love being right, but this is a time where I didn't want to be fucking right, and I was fucking right. So the tube the pipe itself has a much thick it has a thick edge. It's thick, so it has like a thick ring, and it's flat. This tape seals to that great, and kind of it not great. I have to put a coupling over it to like hold the edges in place, and it'll pull a vacuum, no problems.
Yeah.
The other end, though, which is where that T is and where the vacuum gets pulled out of, the T is much thinner. And I can't put a coupling around it because it's wider than the PVC pipe, and I couldn't find anything that I could put over that. It doesn't work. It
leaks?
It leaks. You'll hear it go...
Use tape.
I don't think that'll solve the issue because I even tried
to see what you're talking about.
I even tried duct tape, and it'll get
duct tape doesn't seal well. Duct tape's strong, but it doesn't seal well.
No, it works great for this application.
Oh, it does? Okay.
Except it'll get all the way to the end, and then because my edges aren't perfect, you'll hear a peep, and then the machine will still be able to pull a vacuum, a pretty decent vacuum, like we're talking like half a psi, but because there's a constant air leak and I have to have the vacuum constantly running, when you rupture the end, you don't get that foof, propelling the ball forward. I don't know why.
I think I'd have to see this.
Right, and we can work on that.
It's kind of difficult to understand because I haven't even seen your setup at all.
So yeah. Well, anyways,
the other thing I wanted to say was why didn't Saran wrap work?
So one layer of Saran wrap ruptures like instantaneously.
You want it to rupture.
Not at when I'm only removed 1 psi of air.
Oh, the air pressure ruptures it.
Yep. So I tried 2 layers of Saran wrap. Issue is, I can't get it nice and smooth. And so you get air bubbles in there. Well, when you pull a vacuum on one side, those air bubbles get bigger, it ruptures.
What if you used a Walmart sack?
I never tried a Walmart sack, but I tried Ziploc bags.
No, you use a Walmart sack.
Well, I 3 Ziploc bags is able to pull a vacuum. Awesome. It does a great job. Only issue is it's not consistent. Sometimes 3 will get you to hold a vacuum perfectly fine, and it won't rupture prematurely. Other times, it will rupture prematurely.
Now, is the ball able to break through those?
So, not 3. It's able to rupture through 2. And the only reason why I know this is because it ruptured prematurely when I was running a test of just 2. But lucky for me, it ruptured on the end that I wanted it to rupture from, which then sent the ball at 300 miles per hour through a box and then all the way across my apartment into my shades. Success! But I haven't been able to replicate it. I tried the same test again, but it ruptured from the other side, which is not what you want. So then I tried it with 3. The ball went, and the end just popped off, and the ball just rolled out. So
Yeah,
three,
I'll have to take a look
yeah.
at this.
So 3 bags seems to be the best way I can get the pressure, the rupture side to work. The other side, I don't know. I tried duct tape on that end, and it worked great. However, it's super strong, and so it slows the ball down a lot.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Duct tape's too strong. And that's what I thought the same issue would be with packing tape.
No, because the Mythbusters use packing tape.
Oh, they did?
Yeah. Literally, everybody uses packing tape. Why I can't get packing tape to work, I have no idea. But literally, everybody uses packing tape. Besides, I did a thing.
I would have thought, but you can't get it to work.
I have no idea why. The only thing I can think of is they all had super wide packing tape.
What you need to do is do a double layer, but have it like just a very, very small overlap, like a centimeter.
No, it will rupture.
No, but it's wider though.
Yeah, I've done that. It doesn't work.
Really?
It ruptures. It will leak.
I'm gonna need to see this.
The only time packing tape never leaked was I did a test where I used one end was duct tape and one end was packing tape, and I used a cup link on the one end to hold it in place. But I can't use a cup link on the other end. It would work if I hadn't built it in the way Menards told me to build it. Had I just gone to Amazon, ordered a tapped the damn PVC pipe, I wouldn't be in this situation. We'd be discussing how the hell I'm going to build the choke and launching ping pong balls at Mach 1. We wouldn't be having this conversation. But because I followed Menards, what they told me at Menards, I'm now paying for it because it doesn't work. However, I will say, my whole contraption of freaking fittings holds vacuum. It's great. I was concerned that wouldn't hold vacuum, but yeah, holds vacuum great. I just can't figure out how to get it to seal and hold a vacuum and also rupture, but still let the ball fly out and, so. Yes, there's plenty of experimentation that needs to be done. I've been thinking about the pressure thing, and I don't know. I think I'm gonna order the extra wide packing tape though, next week. Mm-hmm. I think that will solve a lot of my issues. So, because that's what the Mythbusters had. I watched it back, and they don't have regular packing tape. They used this extra wide stuff Adam had. The same Dustin Smart Everyday for all of his vacuum tube stuff had extra wide packing tape. And he was using it on a tube where like the edge was like really sharp because it's metal. And it was still able to pull a vacuum. But like even his tests I saw, you heard the vacuum fail once in a while. And I don't think that was his system inside the tube failing. I think it was the packing tape failing. So even then, it's not a consistent thing. And that's kind of what I Did a Thing cuts out, Mythbusters cut out. Who knows how many times they had to do this, to get it to work.
A camera shot.
Right. Who knows how many times they did this over and over and over. So.
Yeah, that's the one thing they never show.
They might
never talk about all the failures.
Yeah, it might be like 100 to 1 success rate. 100 failures to 1 success.
Yeah.
You have no idea. I Did a Thing tries to show you that, but also it just works. And I'm like, what? Also, I think his tinfoil is thinner than ours here the one I have here in America.
Is he from the UK?
No, he's in Australia.
Australia.
I think he bought cheaper aluminum foil than what I have. I just used whatever I had here in the house, which is like heavy-duty Reynolds wrap. So I wonder if mine's too thick, and so that's causing issues with the sealing. Because I can't get tinfoil to seal. So, my neighbors never complained, so that's good.
Yeah.
Constant vacuum chambers failing, never complained. So no, but when the one time it did work though, it sounded just like you hear in all the videos, just that crack. Like, I didn't expect it. I was just watching the gauge, and it got like, it just went, because it's such a small space. The vacuum gauge just goes, and then pop, and you're like, what the fuck? And I looked over, and my box had fallen over, and I saw my shades moving. I'm like, what the fuck? I walked over the shades. There was the ping pong ball. My shades were fine, and I walked over to the box. The box had an entry and exit wound, but like it went through it so fast, like the box, like it didn't like leave a hole. It like a ping pong ball hole. It like just like made a door, and then the door perfectly shut.
Really?
It's wild. You'll have to look at it. It didn't
went
do
through a box. That's kind of cool.
It just. And it made it all the way across my apartment. And that's what everybody. And like, so the box only has like a few more shots left in its life. And so if we start getting this thing to work consistently, I don't know how we're gonna stop it. Luckily though, now that I have all the junk ping pong balls, I have no problems destroying. I'll probably just get one of the concrete things from out the cheese to sit on and just fire into that.
Piece of plywood.
Well, it will destroy the plywood slowly, as I've seen the videos. So, anyways, but I don't know. But like, this all started with the Patreon. If I did a good enough job, I could conceivably have a Patreon at this point. I wouldn't charge them very much, like maybe $1 or whatever the minimum membership is. Like
$1 a month.
$1 a month,
For the content you do, no offense.
None taken. I really, $1 a month, like, I wouldn't charge them any more than that. For the Patreon, like, have access to, like a public snap where I post that kind of content. Discord.
Yeah.
Make the Discord private and they can have access to that. I don't use it enough, but, like, I think if
I would think a good place to start would be extended conversations from the podcast.
Yeah, like the part that the deleted.
And so that you make the podcast, you have the extended version.
Yeah.
And then like a behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah, the thing is, like, because it's project based now, there is actual behind the scenes. I've been deleting most of that footage, but there is actual behind the scenes footage now. So it's like. Do you want to see me fail 80,000 times with the ping pong ball thing? Go right on ahead and watch it.
Mm-hmm.
I can upload TikToks earlier to that when I make TikToks.
Yeah.
Anyways, we'll kill it now. I would like to thank you all for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. New podcast every Friday, 12 p.m. Central Time, and good night.